Welcome to Kyle Anthony's UFC Betting Show. I am Kyle Anthony, and welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the betting show for UFC Fight Night between Alexa Grasso and Viviane Araujo. We're going to talk two plays like we always do here. Now listen, I know it's another card we all look at and we say, hey, it's not that great of a card, it's not that high level card, or it's not these big names. 2 weeks ago was the last UFC event. We cashed in for 6.72 units on a very low level card. So I'm planning on doing that again this weekend here. So we're gonna be breaking that down today. Did cash last week, or 2 weeks ago I should say, on our 4% best bet play, which was on Joaquin Silva. Cashed in nicely with a second round finish. Have another 4% best bet play up this year. I am 73% winner on my best bet plays this year, over 35 units just on 4% play. So love the spot again, want to finish strong. We have 8 events left in 2022. We want it strong. We want to finish strong. We're up around 60 units on the year. So let's dive right into it. I said last time, let's have a quick show. I still talked for about 25 minutes. So we're going to try to make it a little bit quicker. So let's jump right into it. If you want to become a client, link that in the description. So let's get to it. We're going to first talk Alexa Grasso. She right now is a minus 215 favorite. You've got Araujo is plus 170 on the comeback here. And first we're talking about here is Alexa Grasso. And 3 fights ago, she fought Ji-Yoon Kim. This was a fight here where you look at Kim and she had the 6-inch reach advantage. A fight that we're looking at probably going to be on the feet, probably going to be standing. And I give a lot of credit to what Grasso was able to do, because she really went into this fight and she brought it to her. She brought it to Kim. Kim is not the most technical striker. We do know that, but the solid footwork, and we're going to talk a lot about that from both of these women. A lot of great footwork, a lot of moving it from great angles, firing good positioning combinations from different rangy spots, and really like what she's done. And she did a lot of this here. She was really in and out, landing some nice shots, bouncing back out, landing some nice shots, moving out of range, coming back in range. She definitely could take a crack too. Grasso was hit with a couple good shots, but overall, it was a 30-27 performance for Grasso. She did what she had to do, kept it on the feet, stayed out of range of the longer reach, which I thought was very impressive, and ends up getting the victory. So Grasso wins via decision, 30-27. 2 fights ago, she fought Maycee Barber. This was one here I thought was very interesting because Barber's big. Barber's a big girl for the division. She's strong, and this is really where could Barber be the one to kind of take her down, get her up against the fence, kind of work her. And early, that's what was kind of going on. You saw that Barber was pushing the pace a little bit, trying to get her hands on her and trying to utilize her strength. And again, this is where, we did see Esparza kind of throwing Grasso around, but Esparza is just an absolute monster when it comes to wrestling. And I think that actually has helped Grasso get a little bit better and focus more on her grappling, on her takedown defense. And I thought she had great positional spots up against the fence. There were spots where she was perfectly where Barber kind of wanted her, and she's able to kind of get out of those. I thought the striking looked really sharp from Grasso, the way she was landing, moving around, and she again took some big shots. And I think you've got to have that chin when you're going up against someone like Araujo, who does have power. She's not this knockout artist, but she throws a lot with big power. And even in the clinch, this was spots where also in the clinch, Barber had her up against the fence. This is, again, positionally good. She was able to reverse, get out of range, create space in tough situations, was able to do that. And even into the second round, which I thought was something I wanted to highlight here, is because there was a spot where Barber's on top, and we know she's got big, heavy top control, able to kind of positionally keep her opponent there, and she did a fantastic sweep, ended up reversing Barber, who was on top, ended up getting the top position. I thought that was really a great spot for her to show what she's able to do, that she is elevating in these clinch situations, in these grappling spots. Looked really good there. She ended up getting the victory. She ended up beating Maycee Barber via decision. So there you have it there. And then most recently she fought Joanne Wood. And this was a quick one here. And again, it shows the elevation of some of the real vulnerabilities that Grasso had, known as a striker, known as someone who's going to be standing, crisp boxing. And this spot here, Joanne Wood, brought it to her right away. And a great quick kind of takedown. It was kind of a stumble from both of them, but again, it puts and shows really the knowledge that Grasso's having, where she was able to kind of right away get to the back, a really nice transitional movement from that spot, getting the rear naked choke, getting the finish. I thought it was really spectacular of her to get that finish. Listen, Joanne Wood is not this elite high-level fighter, but it's showing again that her progress and how she continually adds weapons to her arsenal. She goes out there and gets a submission finish in the first round. Now on the other side, we've got Viviane Araujo. 3 fights ago, she fought Roxanne Modafferi. Now, this was one here again where you see that Araujo moves around a lot. She has great footwork, she's big, she's strong, she's explosive. And early you saw that. She was landing some nice shots, she was peppering out a great jab, which once she started kind of throwing it, she realized this is going to land for the rest of the fight, setting up her offense really well with that, utilizing the jab, utilizing good movement. And the one thing that she does, and I think it is taxing on her overall, is she throws everything with power. I mean, she throws everything with all of her power in it, and I think that has hurt her in her cardio, where she can't keep that going on. She can't keep that explosiveness going on past the second round. It kind of appears that way. It really starts to tick down in that third round, but she goes out there, she drops Modafferi in the first round. She ended up getting great positional control time on top, keeping her there. And she just was crisper, crisper striking, much stronger than Modafferi. Listen, Modafferi, nothing great either there. But she goes out there, she does what she needs to do, gets a decision victory. So there you have it there. Now, the interesting one here is 2 fights ago, she fought Katlyn Chookagian. Now, this was one here where I think a lot of this is something that possibly Grasso can utilize going into Saturday. And really early on, they're trading shots, but the big part about this is the movement. It was a lot of movement, and really once, early on, she could land, Viviane can land a good shot, there's no doubt about it. But over the time of 3 rounds, it showed that she was slowing down. Early again, Chookagian, doing what she does. She's more of a point fighter. She wants to stay at range. She wants to throw the long jab. She wants to keep range and just try to win on the scorecard. She doesn't even have a finish in the UFC. And so Araujo kind of knew that, kind of went in there and kind of trying to bring the fight to her. But I really liked that, she was able to keep Viviane out of range and kind of keeping her working. And that also is something that Grasso needs to do. Keep her working, keep her active, slow her down over the rounds. And that's kind of what happened. And she was able to do that throughout. There was even a point, that, she able to get some top control of Viviane. She was able to kind of do some damage there. But just the fact that the pace and the volume was too much, she was getting, by the end of the second into that third round, it was all Chookagian just kind of doing what she does. She can sit out there and throw mediocre strikes for 3 rounds easily. 5 rounds she can do it too, but she goes out there, wins on the scorecards as Viviane slows down. So there you have it there. And then most recently against Andrea Lee. This was one where as soon as the fight started, you did see that she Viviane got dropped by a hook, got back up, got dropped by a head kick, and then even from there, which shows some durability out of Viviane, she ends up picking up Andrea Lee and getting some side control there. But you did see once again, I know I keep repeating myself, but you did see once again that yes, they were trading shots. Yes, there were certain spots where, Viviane looked pretty good, where she had certain control or that kind of thing. But again, as the fight continued to go, she started to slow down. And I think even, even the fact that, Andrea Lee kind of, she started to kind of feel some of that pressure too and kind of wilt to that as well too. There was almost spots though in that, I believe it was the second round, where Lee looked like, Lee looked like she was almost going to get finished. I mean, it looked like there was a spot where she was digging in, she was landing some big shots, she had great positional spots on top going into that third round, and Vivi dug deep. She really dug deep in that third round. Again, did make it to the decision, but the third round was kind of scrappy, kind of messy, but she was able to kind of dig deep, get the win on the scorecards. So there you have it there. Now, with that being said, the first thing here is both these ladies, they have great footwork. I mean, both have great footwork. They can work from the outside. They utilize, some great rangy shots. They keep good activity, and there's some things that they both do very well. Now, the biggest thing here, and we've talked about it already a couple times here, is a clear vulnerability is this cardio issue that I see for Viviane. It is an absolute issue. It's something that now she's 36. I don't expect this cardio issue to kind of go away at this point. It kind of is who he is. Plus the fact that she doesn't really lower the output or lower the I guess the explosiveness at any point. I mean, she's always very explosive early, and it easily after round, it starts to slow down, and she's not this big finisher, so it kind of starts to hurt her win possibilities in a round, in fights that go later. But the explosiveness and power are going to be there for her early, and I think that's going to be something that's going to be interesting there. But again, it trends downward, and her movement and her striking. So it's not even just the fact that she kind of gets tired. She really loses a lot of that offensive weapons that she has, where again, the big striking, the big takedowns, the big pushing forward. And I think a big weapon here is going to be Grasso's cardio. I think she has great cardio. I think she has the ability to kind of keep that throughout. Now, can she go 5 rounds and just kind of keep, keeping that great footwork? We'll see. But we know that she has better cardio, better gas tank than Viviane does. And when you're talking about the grappling side of this as well, too, that's been the vulnerability of Grasso. Grasso has definitely shown that, hey, can she get up? Is she, intelligent enough to get up and have the right hand movement, hip movement to kind of escape, get out, create space? And we have seen that she has. I really think that she has overall. We've seen the improvements there in the clinching. We saw it against Macy Barber. We also saw it against Joanne Wood. We've seen that she's easily improving fight after fight on things that she really needs to improve on to be a well-rounded mixed martial artist. And we've seen some slick transitional movements, even with like I talked about earlier with Barber. Barber, big, strong, heavy ground and pound, and she was able to kind of slip out of it, find top control, and get out of it. Those are the things she's going to have to do if Viviane's looking to get these takedowns and control top position. But I think a big part of this really comes down to not only does the cardio go down of Viviane, but if she can the big part of it, if Viviane can get the takedown and keep top control, she can kind of get a breath. She can kind of take her time, work from that position, get kind of get back to I guess some energy or a little bit, take a breath, and then work from there. But somebody like Grasso, who pretty much is not comfortable at the bottom, and she easily and quickly starts moving, starts to try to create space, that also, this fighting of these up and down and trying to get, if Viviane is going to look for some takedowns, which I absolutely believe she's gonna do at a point, that's going to drain her cardio too. So she's not the type of person, although she's got high level ground game, she hasn't used it as much as because it's so taxing on her body to go over repeatedly attempting these takedowns. We talk about a lot in the show where we kind of talk about, hey, it's great to have good takedowns, but you've got to have the cardio to fuel these takedowns over and over and over again if you're not that successful out the gate. On the striking side, Viviane has the power, but I just really like the striking and the crisp boxing of Grasso. I think she really has a good spot where she's able to kind of have these quick development combinations, keep the good footwork, way sharper than somebody like Viviane. And also the fact that the more technical you are and the more crisper you are and the better you are at these counter strikings, it's going to get to the target quicker. So we got somebody like Viviane who's going to start to slow down and throw these more looping kind of, big shots. Somebody who, she just stays within herself, Grasso, she stays within herself. She keeps very technical striking and able to keep good output, keep good volume. That's going to hurt her also. And I think also another big part, this is a 5-round fight. It's a 5-round fight. If this was a 3-round fight and this was, the prelims or whatever it was, or on the main card and the opener of the main card, I would think differently of this fight because I think, Viviane can go in there and get a takedown and control and possibly early have some success. I think that's where she could have success. I also think this is a good spot for possibly live betting. I think Viviane has looked great in first rounds. She has kept good pace in first rounds, looked really good explosively in that first round. And it starts to tick down. So after the first and that second round, I think you could actually get a pretty good price on Grasso, looking at the live odds and seeing what it's going to be at that point there. But I think this is going to be very similar to the Caitlin Chookagian fight, where she's going to keep good range. Certain spots maybe be in danger where Araujo is able to kind of control positioning. But I think this is a good spot for Alexa Grasso here. So listen, I think Alexa Grasso is going to go out there and get this victory. don't like the price at the minus 215 range. So for me here, I like Grasso via points plus 130. You're getting off the big number. You're getting in the spot where I think she's going to be very careful early on and chip away in those third, fourth, and fifth round to find a victory. So I like Alexa Grasso via points plus 130. And the other one we quickly just give out without diving into this is Askar Askarov versus Brandon Royval. You got Askar, he's minus 250, and you've got Royval is plus 190. Now, there's no hiding here, obviously, what Askar is going to be doing. He's going to look for takedowns. He's going to look to push the pace. He's going to look for repeated chain wrestling over and over and over again and get that control time. Get that control time, keep his opponent there, wear on him, and just keep that smothering pressure going. And that's something that a lot of guys have struggled with. You wilt to that. It's very tough to kind of create that space, and especially being in the apex cage as well too here. And Royval has fantastic scrambling. He has shown it in certain spots where he's had some tough spots, some tough situations, able to scramble out, able to create the space, and he also is submission hunting from the bottom. He's the kind of guy who always is offensive. He's always looking for those spots, which could put Askar in some tough situations if he's trying to look for the takedown and he sinks in a choke or leaving his neck out there. There are those certain things that he does do, but he's capable of surviving on the ground. And some guys may not be capable. Some guys, may wilt to it, and all of a sudden, that's where they're going to able to allow their opponent to kind of start dictate the pace, find an opportunity to latch onto a limb and get the finish. But one of the things I think that really kind of takes this back a little bit is the fight against Rogerio Bontorin versus Brandon Royval. And there was a lot of scrambling there. There was a lot going on there. Both guys are kind of slipping and falling and all these things there too. But if you look at it, Bontorin got 8 of 9 takedowns. Now, if Bontorin is able to get that many takedowns, now yes, he was able to scramble, get out, find spots, to escape. But if he could do that, there is no doubt that Askar can do that. And I think not only that, but I think Askar could do it even better than Bontorin can in general. And I think that spells a lot of bad things for Royval in this spot here. I mean, Royval is got some good striking. I mean, that's one thing I don't like about Askar is that he has kind of limited striking, mostly uses his striking for cutting distance and just getting his hands on. He's not looking to, knock you out. He's looking to kind of, create fakes, feints, look for openings to kind of maybe counter and then look to level change. And, no doubt that you've got the unpredictable striking of Royval. He's jumping, he's spinning, he's flipping, he's doing all these things that kind of do make it tough. And a guy like Askar could be susceptible to that. He could be susceptible to that. But also these spins and these big movements allow Askar, who is he's beelining for a takedown if any kind of opening happens, and Royval may present some of those opportunities too there. And I think you're going to see a lot of up against the fence. I think you're going to see a lot of Askar up against the fence, holding him there, keeping him there, maybe taking him down a little bit, and then Brandon may able to get up, create space. We know that Askar is going to go right for the takedowns and shoot, not look to stand with him. And if you look at this, that Askar has 14 wins professionally, 7 of which have come via submission. But since in the UFC, all 5 of his fights have gone to a decision. So now that he's at this level of fighting, he has not been able to find those finishes. He has not been able to really sink in any of these finishes where you've got, prior lower level organizations, he's been able to kind of wear on these guys and find the finish, get the finish, whatever it may be. And then you've got Royval on the other side. Royval has 6 losses professionally. 1 has come by sub, 1 has come by knockout, and 5 by decision. So for me here, I do like Askar Askarov plus 140 via points. I think this is a great spot here. I think a lot of the data is supporting that. I think a lot of the way that these two guys fight is supporting that. So I think this is a great spot here. I like it a lot, and that's the big other play. It's going to be Askar Askarov via points plus 140. So there you have it there. And those are my plays for UFC Fight Night this Saturday. If you want to become a client, link that in the description. And we'll see how we do. Let's finish this year off strong. We're making money, and I'm ready to keep it going. So this is Kyle Anthony's UFC Betting Show, and I'll see you next time.